New York's prisons have been in turmoil much of this year. Now the state is set to grant early release to hundreds of nonviolent inmates. The prison commissioner blames staffing shortages, not enough guards for the number of prisoners. To be eligible, prisoners must be within 110 days of their scheduled release date, not have committed sex or drug crimes, and have an approved place to live. Aaron, is this an understaffing problem? Is it an incarceration problem?
Our correctional system in this state is in turmoil and is a problem writ large. But I want to emphasize here that I don't think that this early release program, I think we could make a mountain out of a molehill from this a little bit. There are much bigger issues of ongoing staffing. There are much bigger issues when you have multiple people beaten to death by guards in prisons, and guards going on wildcat strikes because they're worried that they don't have the adequate protections that they need, right? And this needs to be resolved as a more holistic issue. Zeroing in on, oh, it's just more leniency and more early release on this, I think is, again, making a bit too much. The commissioner said that out of only about 700 people total would qualify for this early release because, again, you have to already be approved for release and within just over 3 months of your time for release. And not have committed a violent crime. We're not talking about huge numbers of violent criminals. We're not talking about huge numbers of people who are in prisons. And remember, once you've served your term and you're out, you're a citizen again, right? Like sometimes I think we have this mentality that you're releasing someone from prison, that's a criminal on the street. No, that's someone who's paid their debt to society and is now back and part of society. These people have places to live. They have lives that they need to go on living. That's really important. What we need to do is start talking more about what's the long-term solution here to the staffing problem, to the very fact that we had a wildcat strike and the fact that we've had this violence and deaths. I mean, Messiah Natwi brutally beaten to death this year, right, at Mid-State Correctional Facility.
So I just don't get it. So when you look at the prison population numbers, the high water mark was 1999. Since then, the prison population has dropped in half. But the number of corrections officers has only dropped by 37%. We have the second highest ratio of or the second lowest, I don't know how to put this, ratio of incarcerated people to correction officers. We're ranked second to Massachusetts. So we basically have 1.5 incarcerated people per corrections officer. So we have lots of corrections officers. We, again, second highest in the land, yet we have this crisis. And so the numbers don't make sense to me. I don't understand fundamentally what's really at issue here.
Yeah, I agree with that data, and it's also like, confuses me a little bit that why that we have that guard to prisoner ratio, then what is the issue about this shortage? You know, the broader, I agree with you, this is fine, like these people were supposed to be released anyway. Only 700 of them, and they will have a stable place to stay, and why not let them out? I often hear this refrain, what would we say to the victims' families and so on? Well, you can talk about the victims' family about this wonderful word called forgiveness. That's a wonderful word that you have in the English dictionary.
We're talking in this case, let me just intercede here, nonviolent.
Completely nonviolent, yes. Right. I mean,
so the victim's family...
but I mean, there might be some victims, and that was one of the things, one of the lawmakers, well, what would we tell the victims? Well, ask them to forgive them, whatever. Like, our problem is that we incarcerate...
Whatever is a little flippant.
Yes, I get it. These are non-violent crimes. They're non-violent, they're not sex offenders, they're not murderers. What, they might have like issued a wrong check or tried to do some, steal some stuff from, I don't know about these people, right? But I can say that if you have 3 months left to come out and you have a stable place to stay, sure, let them out, give them a chance, a little early on, and let's not think about this kind of vengeance idea that, you had 3 more months left and I'm going to wring it out of you because you are so bad, right? I don't believe in that kind of an ideology. So
I just feel like there's a changing of we've changed the plot. And from my perspective, the main plot line really needs to be back on to what looks to be endemic violence by corrections officers on the people that they are employed to support and protect while ensuring that they are paying their debt to society. 7 of the 10 Mercy Correction Facility officers have been indicted in other violent, potentially violent offenses against inmates. So there is a management problem, there is a supervision problem. I think New York State has not paid attention to its corrections facilities in a long time, and now that leaves us with this mess.